بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أما بعد. Inshallah, now we're moving on. Everybody following? Any questions? Very happy? Enjoying it? Yeah? Okay. So again, I always do this every lesson just to make sure you have a mental map of the book. So As-Sugra fi an-Nahw is comprised of 4 chapters, 1 Muqaddimah and 3 Maqsid. Maqsid, that's the top heading. So I know you might say, oh, it's chapter, but remember, each chapter has a name. You have Maqsid, then you have Bab, then you have Naw, then you have Qisam, then you have Darb. You have to keep it in mind. So it's very easy to navigate. So Sugra, you have Muqaddimah. Then how many Maqasid do we have? How many Maqsid? 3 Maqsid. The first Maqsid is regarding Al-Amil. The second Maqsid is regarding Al-Ma'mul. And the third Maqsid is regarding Al-I'rab. Okay? And where are we currently discussing? What's our discussion? We finished off yesterday what? Al-Muqaddimah. In Al-Muqaddimah we discussed the kalima, ism, fa'l and harf, which we already know, but we just define them and give examples. We discussed Al-Jumla, ismiya and fa'liya, and then we discussed an-Amil. Amil is what? The governing particle, ma yujibu halatan, al-ma'mul, ma yaqbaluha, and al-i'rab, atharun yajlibuha al-amil. Correct? Now we're moving on to the first section. What's al-maqsid al-awwal? Al-Amil, those particles that govern, those words that govern, meaning this, when you see this word, you know another word in a sentence will have some kind of effect because of this. This word will cause some other change to another word after it or before it or something. That's called Amil. So how many types of words are there? Ism, Fa'l and Harf. So now, we're going to have Al-Fa'l Al-Amil. So this Maqsid Al-Awwal, we're going to talk about Amil. So we're going to, which verbs govern. Do you understand? Then what's the second chapter going to be? Al-Babu Thani is going to be what? What do you think it's going to be? No, it's going to be the harf that governs. And the third chapter is going to be nouns that govern. So for example, which verb causes the following verb to be marfu, noun to be mansoob or marfu? Which harf, for example, inna causes the harf ism of inna to be mansoob, etc. And which isms cause nouns to be marfu, mansoob, or majroor, or majzoom. Correct? Yes? Then we have one little, 4th chapter is regarding al-ma'na, meaning you can't really see any amil, but it's still, like for example, mubtada. What makes mubtada marfu? Is there anything before it? No, so then things like that we just have to add in like that. And then we have a khatima, where we discuss a few miscellaneous rules regarding amil. So al-maqsid al-awwal is regarding what? No, al-maqsid al-awwal. So no, not fa'l. Amil. Governing words. And within those governing words, we can say, well, governing verbs, governing harf, governing ism. And things which are not really, you can't see any governing particle, but it's still marfu, etc. And then a few miscellaneous rules. Are you following? So we then muqaddimah, first thing that we're going to discuss al-maqsid al-awwal fil amil. And we're going to discuss which fa'l amil, which harf amil, and which ism amil. Do you understand? Does everybody understand where we are and what structure we're using? Yes? Yes? Usman? Rajib? Alhamdulillah. Okay. So al-maqsid al-awwal fil amili, the first maqsid, I'm going to use the word maqsid because maqsid is like a heading. So it's the first chapter, but then section, subheading. So first, maybe let's call it maqsid because it means a topic, but then they all mean, all the words that we use, maqsid, bab, naw, qisam, darb, all of these mean heading or type. But we use different headings, names, so that we know which level we're at. So the very top heading is what? Maqsid. So al-maqsid al-awwal fil amil. The first discussion, the first maqsid is regarding what? Is regarding amil. Any governing word, whether it's a noun, a verb, or a particle, or something which is invisible. وَفِيهِ أَرْبَعَةُ أَبْوَابٍ وَخَاتِمَةٌ. It consists of how many babs? 4 babs. And one, this is a supplement. One supplement. Or one epilogue. Correct? What are the 4 babs going to be? Al-Fa'l al-Amil, Al-Harf al-Amil, Al-Ism al-Amil, then Al-Ma'na, Al-Ma'na al-Amil. Al-Amil, Al-Amil al-Ma'nawi. And then Khatima. Okay, so you got it? How we were discussing? So what we want to find out which words cause other words to be marfu, mansoob, majroor, majzoom. Okay? Pardon me? Khatima means it means ending, but this means here a few miscellaneous rules, an epilogue, a supplement, additional rules regarding amil which are not in the first four. Okay, so khatima means an epilogue or a supplement. Supplement is probably a better translation here, supplement. Additional information which don't fit under those four. So al-bab al-awwal fil fi'l al-amil. The first bab regarding al-fi'l al-amil. Regarding which word? Regarding what? Verbs that govern. So fi'l al-amil means what? Verbs that govern. So now we're discussing Muqaddimas finish, al-maqsid. And al-maqsid al-awwal we discuss what? Al-fi'l al-amil, verbs that govern. Wa huwa naw'an. There are two types. You can say all the verbs that govern have two types. Yes? So look, we have this, yes? You got this in front of you? Understand? Now we've done this before. So you have al-fi'l al-amil, harf al-amil, ism al-amil, al-amil al-ma'nawi, and al-khatima. Within fi'l, we say there are two types of fi'l. What are they? Two types of fi'l. One is called al-Qiyasi, well, it's called al-Qiyasi, and the second is as-Sama'i. Okay? Let me explain this. What does Qiyas mean? Have you done before? Al-mar'u yaqisu ala nafsihi. I will come in al-muntakhabat. Qasi yaqisu means measurable. What does it mean? Measurable. So it means here it follows a rule, it follows a particular system. Okay? And sama, what does sami'a yasma'u mean? Sami'a yasma'u. To hear, to listen. So sama'i means something which is just heard. There's no rules for it. It's like, for example, if you go back all the way to, remember mu'annath? We have mu'annath as-sama'i. Those mu'annaths which have no rules, or we don't see the pattern in them, but the Arabs make the mu'annaths like narun, shamsun, nafsun. Remember? So sama'i. Sama'i means basically mean, it just means basically the Arabs have used them as what? The Arabs have used them as feminine. So similarly here, we have qiyasi verbs and we have sama'i verbs. So what does sama'i mean? Sama'i means a particular set of verbs. We can't really add anything to this. And qiyasi means verbs that follow a particular pattern. Okay, for example, like for example, we said the fa'il, a fa'il has a fa'il and a maf'ul bihi, yes? So what if you make a new verb up? For example, zawama yuzawimu muzawamatan. What does that mean? What's the root letters? Zawama. What zawama mean? Zama yazumu zuman. What does zoom mean? They use that word. So well, they made up that word recently last year. So zawama yuzawimu ba mufa'ala, for two people to have a Zoom meeting. Now, okay, if I ask you a question, do you have to analyze? What do you think here? Is it going to have a fa'il? Or obviously going to have a fa'il. Can have a fa'il, isn't it? Will have a maf'ul bihi? Can have a maf'ul fi? Can have a maf'ul mutlaq? Can have a, yeah, for example, nuzawimu kathiran, maf'ul mutlaq. Nuzawimu kulla yawmin, maf'ul fi. It follows the same as normal daraba, innit? So whether the Arabs before, even before Islam, they use the word daraba, sami'a, alima, whatever rules apply to them will also apply to zawama. Now, a verb that's only 1 year old. Do you understand? Ta'amraka, what does ta'amraka mean? What's the root letters? Ta'amraka. What about the kaf at the end? So it's a ruba'i. Amraka, alif, hamza, mim, ra, kaf. What English word? Alif, mim, ra, kaf. America. Ta'amraka, to Americanize, to become American. Now, did the Arabs use the word ta'amraka before? But ta'amraka will have a fa'il? Will have a maf'ul bihi? It follows normal rules, don't it? Yes? So that's what qiyasi, like it just follows a normal rule. Any verb you make up will have normal rules. And qiyas and sama'i are certain verbs which we just hear the Arabs, for example, fa'lu naqis. We know there are only 13 fa'lu naqis, that's it. Kana, Sara, there's no, you can't make up any, you can't make your own word and say, well, we're going to have a khabar of alima. You can't have a khabar of zawama. So these words behave in a particular way. So sama'i verbs are a particular list of words that you can't add anything to, and they're confined to what we have heard from the Arabs. And qiyasi rules that follow a general pattern. Do you understand qiyasi and sama'i? Do you understand? Yes? You following? Okay? Yes? So now we're saying here, so both of these verbs, all verbs, whether they're sama'i or whether they're qiyasi, they all govern. Qiyasi verbs govern in one way, and Sama'i verbs have their own rules of governing. They have slightly different rules. So all Qiyasi verbs that we discuss, Qiyasi verbs. You understand? So we're discussing al-maqsid al-awwal fil amil, governing words. Which words govern? All verbs govern, some harf govern, and some ism govern. And we've got in the fact, we say Qiyasi verbs and Sama'i verbs. Qiyasi verbs, all of them follow the same rule. Whether they're words that were used before Islam, whether they're words that we made up, new verbs that we develop according as our society develops. Okay? So an-Nahw al-awwal, the first Nahw. Again, Nahw means type. But again, we're going to use the word Nahw, Qisam, they all means Qisam, type, they all mean the same thing. The first Nahw. An-Nahw al-awwal is mubtada. An-Nahw al-awwalu qiyasiyun. The first type, i.e. the first type of verbs are qiyasiyun. What are they? Qiyasi, meaning verbs that follow a pattern or a structured rule. So an-Nahw al-awwal qiyasiyun. The first type of verbs that govern are qiyasi. And qiyasi means what? Words that follow a set rule or a set pattern. Yes? Okay. So وَهُوَ يَرْفَعُ الْفَاعِلَ. وَهُوَ meaning the qiyasi verbs is mubtada. وَهُوَ يَرْفَعُ means يَرْفَعُ means to lift and elevate. Arafa means recognize. Is it rafa'a? To recognize and lift. But in Nahwa, what does rafa'a mean? Rafa'a yarfa'u raf'an, rufi'a yarfa'u raf'an, irfa' la tarfa' rafi'un marfu'un. So what do you think it means in the Nahwa, in grammar? In gram, huh? To make marfu'. You understand? Yes? وَهُوَ يَرْفَعُ الْفَاعِلَ. It makes what? The fa'il marfu'. Doesn't it? All verbs make the fa'il what? Marfu'. وَيَنْسِبُ. No points for guessing what yansibu means. What does yansibu mean? To make mansub. وَيَنْسِبُ الْمَفَاعِيلَ وَالْحَالَ. And it makes the maf'ul, not maf'ul but all the maf'uls and the hal mansub. So any qiyasi verb, it will have what? It will have a fa'il, and it will make the fa'il or the na'ibahu. It will make the fa'il and na'ibahu. What's na'ibahu mean? Na'ibul fa'il. So na'ibahu, this who's Zamir referring back to? Listen, who's Zamir referring back to al-fa'il. It will make the fa'il and na'ibul fa'il marfu', and it will make the mafa'il and the hal what? Mansub. Understood? It will make the hal and all the mafa'il mansub. Do you understand? Are you following? And we know this from before from our basic Nahwa, don't we? وَهُوَ قِسْمًا. There are also two types of qiyasi verbs. So now you go back here. فعل العامل, حرف العامل, اسم العامل, and the عامل معنوي and the خاتمة. And then we have qiyasi and sama'i verbs. Qiyasi verbs of two types. الفعل اللازم and الفعل المتعدي. Have we done this in Nahwa before? No? Lazim means transitive and muta'addi means, lazim means intransitive. It does not have a maf'ul bihi. Remember? We done that in the thing. It has no maf'ul. Did you not mention that in the Nahwa book? Arabic book? No? So, al-fi'lu lazim means what? And muta'addi. Okay, so let's go here. So, al-qism al-awwal al-fi'lu lazim. Lazim means intransitive. What does it mean? What does intransitive mean? No maf'ulun bihi. It does not have a maf'ulun bihi. Are you following? So al-lazim means it does not have a maf'ulun bihi. Yes? Very good question. Very good. Coming up now. Jalasa Zaydun. Nahwu. What does Nahwu mean? For example, Jalasa Zaydun. What does Jalasa mean? Does that have a maf'ul bihi? Can you sit somebody? Can you sit something? You sit on something, but can you sit something? So it's not, doesn't have a maf'ul bihi, does it? So what kind of verb is this? Fi'lun lazim. So jalasa is the fi'l. Jalasa is the fi'l. Zaydun is the fa'il. What does amam al-khatib mean? Come. Maf'ul fihi. So now, is that answer your question? What does julusan become? Maf'ul? Maf'ul mutlaq. So it can have the mafa'il, not maf'ul bihi. So a fi'lul lazim has all the mafa'il except maf'ul bihi. It can have a hal as well. Do you understand? So الفعل, pardon me? We don't do any, what, pardon me, I didn't hear the question. Yes? No, we don't label it differently. It is pointing out to you that الفعل اللازم will not have a مفعول به. الفعل اللازم will not have a مفعول به. The others, they will have مفعول فيه, مفعول معه, all the other مفعائل we do later on, مفعول مطلق. It can have a حال, etc. You understand? والقسم الثاني الفعل المتعدي. The second type is what? الفعل المتعدي. متعدي means what? Transitive. متعدي means transitive. الفعل المتعدي is transitive. What does that mean? It has everything and it can have what? A مفعول به. For example, يعبد المسلم الله. A Muslim or the Muslim worships Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So now what does this have? A maf'ulun bihi as well. And it can also have now the other mafa'il like a maf'ul lahu, maf'ul ma'ahu, etc. etc. Understood? Yes? So, governing, what governs? What's the amil? Something that causes the following words to change. We'll be discussing now al-fa'lul amil. What is fa'lul amil? Verbs that govern. Verbs that govern are verbs that cause changes to the words after it. Yes? And how many types of verbs are there? Qiyasi and Sama'i. Qiyasi are what? Those that follow a fixed rule. It just is anywhere, whether it's the old verb, new verb, they all have a fixed pattern. If it's then and those and Sama'i are those that are limited, we just have a few of them that we heard from the Arabs. We can't make new ones. Correct? And in fact, and the Qiyasi, how many are they? Lazim and Muta'addi. Lazim means what? Intransitive. And Muta'addi means transitive. Do you understand? So look, this is it. So we're discussing As-Sugra fi an-Nahw. We have the Muqaddimah we've completed. We discussed Kalima, Jumla and Amil, Ma'mul and I'rab in there. Then we started the first maqsid, which is regarding what? Amil. And then we said we have 4 chapters and a khatima, 4 headings we need to discuss, and then some miscellaneous rules. The first heading is what? Those verbs that govern. Second heading is those harfs that govern, those nouns that govern, those invisible things that govern, and a few miscellaneous rules. Then we said there are 2 types of verbs. What are the 2 types of verbs? Verbs that follow a rule, which are what? Qiyasi. Verbs that don't follow a rule are Sama'i, they're masmu'. They just heard from the Arabs. The Arab used these verbs, so we just use these verbs as they are. We can't add or subtract to this list. And Qiyasi, we can make up any verb you want. You can make it up, but people use it or not, another issue. But like for example, you might have a word for to tweet. For example, gharrada. Well, gharrada was used before. So gharrada, yugharridu, taghreed means, it basically means ghardun, when a bird chirps. So taghreedun is to tweet, send a tweet. Taghreedat, tweets. So words, we develop words as we go along. Okay? So Zawama, I said, is a very easy example. Everybody knows now Zoom, to make a Zoom meeting, a Zoom call. So even that will follow the rules of Fa'al Qiyasi. And in the Qiyasi, you have 2 of them, Fa'al Lazim and Fa'al Muta'addi. There's no really major difference. The only thing is, Al-Fa'lul Lazim will not have a Maf'ulun bihi. It can have the Maf'ul fi, Maf'ul lahu, Maf'ul mutlaq, that we done previously. And a Fa'al Muta'addi will have everything, and it can also have a Maf'ulun bihi. Understood? You got a mind map? Is a mind map developing as you go along? Yes? Any questions? Does anybody have any questions? No? Everybody follow? Do you go ahead with your question?
Now we know broken down the table and show you fixed elements of variable elements. Yeah, now instead of moving on to the table itself. So we don't have to
yes.
We do a bit more rafa and there's about
yeah. So Sama'i we can't add to them. For example, like Fa'lun Naqis. We can't make up all Fa'lun Naqis now. Okay? Qiyasi we can any new word that is developed will either be a Fa'lun Lazim or Fa'lun Muta'addi. Okay? Any new verb that we develop will become Fa'lun Lazim or Fa'lun Muta'addi. And again, you don't have to go too technical in this, just a rough idea. Okay? Any other question? Okay. Any other questions regarding this lesson right now before we end the video? No? Before regarding lesson? Okay. سبحان الله وبحمده سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك ونشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت ونستغفرك ونتوب إليك.